Today we are going to graph quadratic equations with inequalities. First thing we need to do is we still need to just treat this like it has an equal sign and find the x point of our vertex or our axis of symmetry. So that would be x equals -3 over 2 times 1 or -1.5. And so now we plug in -1.5, and this is our vertex. So it's the square of -1.5 squared plus 3 times -1.5 minus 4. And we get -6.25. Then we plug in points around it, so we'll go -1, 0, and then this would be -2, -3. If I plug in -1, I end up with 1, minus 3, which is -2, minus 4 is -6. I plug in 0. I get -4. So, I graph this, because these should just repeat up here. And I go to -1.5, -6.25, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. About right there. And then -1, -6. Which is right there, and then -2, -6 right there, and 0, -4 right there, and -3, -4 right there. And we draw our line. Okay, and we messed up because that should have been a dotted line, okay? It's because of this, the greater than. It should have been dotted. So let's make that dotted. And that's the graph of that. Now we need to shade it, and it says greater than that. Therefore, everything greater than the vertex or shaded inside of it. Okay. All right, let's do this one. First, we need to find our x value of our vertex, which would be our x equals -2, or our axis of symmetry, over 2 times 1, which is -1. -1. Plug that in, and we get -1 squared plus 2 times -1 minus 8. End up with 1. Minus 2 is -1. Minus 8 is -9. Then we go 0, 1, -2, -3. Plug in 0. And we get -8. Plug in 1. And we get 3 minus 8, which is -5. -8, -5. We go to graph this. I should have also put the equation at the top here. Did not. We go to graph this. Okay. -1, -9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 over -1. And then -2, -8. and 0, negative 8, and 1, 5, and I messed up on that one. And again, this would be a dotted line because of the greater than sign. And then since it's all greater than the vertex, it will be shaded inside. All right, now we have 2x squared minus 3x plus 1, and y is less than or equal to that. So we go 2x squared minus 3x plus 1. Okay, first we got to find our x value of our vertex, or our axis of symmetry. X equals a negative negative 3 over 2 times 2. And we end up with 3/4. Plug in 3/4. Minus 3 times 3/4 plus 1, and we negative 1.25. Then we are going to have to plug in all 5 points this time because we're not going to be equal distance away. So we go 1, 2, 0, negative 1. Plug in 1. We end up with 2 minus 3 is negative 1 plus 1 is 0. We plug in 0. We end up with 1. Plug in 2. We get 4 times 2 is 8, minus 6 is 2, plus 1 is 3. Plug in negative 1. And we get 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Now we can graph these. Okay, we go to 3/4 negative 1.25, which would be just about right there. And then we go 0, 1. And then 1, 0. Right there. Let's just restart that. And then we got our 2 points there. Now 2, 3, 2. And then negative 1, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, draw our graph here. There's that. Now it says everything less than the vertex, therefore we shade on the outside of it. Also, the line would be solid because it is a less than or greater than, less than or equal to. All right, now we have y is less than negative x squared plus 4x plus 2. So negative x squared plus 4x plus 2. First, we've got to find our x value of our vertex, so that'll be x equals negative 4 over 2 times negative 1, or 2. That again is our vertex. We plug that in. Negative 2 squared plus 4 times 2 plus 2. End up with negative 4 plus 8, which would be 4, plus 2, which would be 6. Plug in 3 and 4 and 1 and 0. I'm going to plug in 1. And we end up with negative 1 plus 4 is 3 plus 2 is 5. Plug in 0. And you get 2. We go to graph this, and we get this. We go to shade it, and it says everything less than that. So it's everything below your vertex, so therefore it's shaded on the inside of it. Now we're going to do two graphs on one. First, okay, I found my axis of symmetry of the first one, okay? And so I plug that in, and I get 0 squared plus 4, which is 4. And then 1 and 2, and I plug in 1. Which would be negative 1 squared plus 4. End up with negative 1 plus 4, which is 3. So negative 1 would be 3. And then I plug in 2, and I get 2 squared plus 4, which is negative 4 plus 4, which would be 0. And I graph that, and that's what I get. Also, I will shade that, and I will shade that in green, and it's less than that, so we know that we'll shade like that, okay? And then we'll do the other one here, and we get 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 3, and we get 1 minus 2, which is negative 1, minus 3, negative 4. And then we go 2, 3, 0, negative 1. Plug in 0. And I get negative 3. So then this one will be negative 3. I plug in negative 1. And I end up with 1 plus 2, which is 3. Minus 3, which is 0. And I graph that. And that's what I get as a graph in red there. And then I need to shade it. And it says it's greater than that. Well, it is just going to be the intersection, but it's greater. But really, guys, it is just this black part that's in here, because that's the intersection of the two. So that is our solution area where I just darkened in.